Email marketing is still the best way to scale your ecom brand profitably in 2024. Yet we talk to 6, 7, and even 8-figure brands every single week that consistently struggle to deliver a good return from their email campaigns. And then when I look under the hood of their actual email setup, I see the same repetitive mistakes over and over and over again. That's why in this video, I'm going to give you the biggest email marketing mistakes that 99% of brand owners are making, and most importantly, exactly how you can fix them. The first deadly mistake is having poor email deliverability. Now, the reason this one is such a killer is because if your deliverability isn't on point, nothing else will work in your entire email strategy. And most brands don't even realize that a lot of their emails are going to spam or promotions instead of the primary tab. As an example, this CBD brand that we were working with, we quadrupled their email revenue in about 5 months, and this was when they started with terrible deliverability. Almost every single email was landing in spam for them, so we had to be really strategic with the way we pulled them out of that. And then, like I mentioned, about 5 months later, they were not landing in spam anymore, and we had 4x the overall revenue coming from their email list on a monthly basis. Now, there are 3 aspects you need to focus on if you want to improve your deliverability in your email list. Number 1 is going to be the domain setup, so that's going to be your DNS records. Now, DNS records come down to a DMARC, so that's DMARC, a DKIM record, and then an SPF record. If you go online and find like Easy DMARC Checker or SPF lookup, things like that, you can generate them automatically and then add those to your domain hosting platform, and then get them set up so that your domain is set up properly. Now, number 2 for deliverability is your sending reputation. So sending reputation is influenced by the metrics that you're getting in your email marketing. And the main metric you're gonna wanna focus on here is your open rate. So we like to aim for a minimum of a 40% open rate on a consistent basis. If you're currently below that, you're just gonna wanna send to your most engaged email subscribers for about 2 to 3 weeks, and make sure your open rates are consistently getting over 40% on all of your email campaigns. Then the third part of deliverability is content optimization. So this part comes down to 2 things. It's compressing the images in your emails and then using as much text blocks as you can. We like to add text blocks into the footer of our emails because that's just an easy way to make sure that it's there and that it balances out the images of the content. But when it comes to the actual images themselves, you're going to want to throw them into an image compressor like iloveimg.com. Then instead of just using a straight image export from Figma or Canva, use the export from iloveimg.com. It will compress the image's size without sacrificing the quality. Alright, so the second mistake that a lot of e-commerce brands are making right now is having weak or just incomplete automated email flows. So we actually took Jeff's training company here and we doubled their email revenue in about 30 days and added over 30K a month simply by revamping their flows, revamping their campaigns, and making sure the strategy was actually running at a high level. Now, I could talk to you for hours about flows and optimizing them and split testing and everything like that, but first I want to make sure that you have the core ones in place. So the core email flows are your welcome series, your site abandonment, browse abandonment, abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, and then on the post-purchase side, we've got a first-time buyer series, repeat buyer series, VIP flow, customer win-back flow, and re-engagement flow. Then on the SMS side of things, we've got an SMS welcome series, SMS browse abandonment, and SMS abandoned cart. Again, I don't have all day, so I can't go into the specifics on each of those, but I do have other videos on my channel about the specific flow setups and how to do each one specifically. Alright, so a third major mistake that a lot of brands are making right now is not having a data-driven testing strategy. So as an example of this, we took this skincare brand and tripled their email marketing revenue in under 90 days. And the craziest part about this is that they were already doing pretty good with their email marketing. We simply just had to come in and optimize everything that they were already doing. So the best way I would recommend for you to do this as a brand is at the end of every single month on the calendar, just go through all of your flows, go through your campaign results, go through your opt-in form growth, the conversion rate there, and look at where the weak points are. You want to really break down what's failing you right now and what's doing well. And if something's failing really heavily and there's a lot of opportunity there, then that's something we're going to want to run split tests on. Or let's say you have a welcome series that's converting really well and you want it to convert even better. That's another scenario where we might do another split test right there to make sure that we continue driving growth in that welcome series. For example, going back to the CBD brand that I was talking about earlier, you can see right here that we took their opt-in form conversion rate from 2.24% to over 7%. And the reason this was valuable to them is because now they're converting 3 times as many people onto their email list on a monthly basis. And we did that with just 2 split tests that they weren't running before. Alright, so fourth mistake that a lot of brands are making right now is not balancing branding with direct response. So we do a lot of email marketing audits, meaning we just jump in the Klaviyo account of your brand and just look at what's working and what's not. And one thing that I've seen literally dozens of times is a brand just sending sales email after sales email after sales email to their list, and they just burned it out really quickly. So in that case, they're doing constant direct response and they're not using any branding. And by branding, I don't just mean like design, I mean like giving value to the list, building a personal connection with the list, things like that. So the best way to actually plan your content calendars for your brand is to start by thinking about what groups of people do we want to convert first. Now, we like to break that up into non-buyers, one-time buyers, and repeat buyers. And then we just kind of think like, what type of content do we want to give each of these pods of people? For example, if they're a non-buyer, we're going to give them a lot more direct response style content because they haven't purchased yet. If they're a one-time buyer, we're going to kind of do a better mix between branding and direct response because we just want to keep them in love with our brand and with our products. We don't necessarily need to hammer them with sale after sale and hard direct response angle like we would have to with the non-buyers. And then you have repeat buyers. So these people have already purchased from us multiple times. They've already kind of shown that they like our products. So really, we don't have to do any direct response for them. We just want to stay in front of them and keep our brand something that they like to associate themselves with. Things will get a little bit different if you're a high AOV product, like, for example, a sink, for example. That might be something where people buy once and they just won't buy again. So in that case, you have to treat people a little bit differently. All right, so the fifth and final mistake is not having a proper list growth strategy. So earlier I mentioned how we took that CBD brand's opt-in form conversion rate from 2% to 7%, and we've done that probably tens of other times that I can't even recall. And at this point, to me, it's become a pretty simple process of looking at the form that a brand is using to pull their website traffic onto the email list, and then just making the little tweaks that we have to make to bump up that conversion rate so that it's a consistent, 7, 8, even higher percent of people converting onto the email list on a weekly basis. So there are a few categories that we like to split test in the opt-in form that's going to help you grow your list faster. So number one is going to be a timing. This is a really quick test to set up because we can just test like an 8-second timing versus a 30-second timing, meaning after someone comes to your website, it might take 8 seconds for the actual form to pop up. That's a quick one. We usually see a really good result from that right off the bat. Number two, and this is probably the most important test, is the offer. So for example, you might want to test a $10 off offer versus a 10% off offer. And that's going to vary depending on what your average order value is, but based on that offer, more people might take the $10 off versus 10% off based on the type of products that you sell. And in some cases, you'll have to consider the profit that you're taking out of each sale based on a percentage discount versus a dollar discount. The next category that we like to test is the copy. So that's your headlines, the subheaders, the buttons, things like that. Then the other category here is the design. And in some situations, the design is actually more important than the copy itself. So one example of that is testing a dark format versus a light format. Or you can test no image versus one really big image. So those are the 5 worst email marketing mistakes and how you can fix them. So now you can take a look at all these mistakes, fix them for yourself, and be on your way to scaling your email list, right? Email marketing is a full-time job in itself, and as an ecom brand owner, you have a ton of other high leverage levers that you can be pulling. So if you want us to help you maximize your traffic and scale your brand profitably with email marketing, then click the first link in the description to book a strategy call with me. I'd love to talk about how we can step in, help you guys be more profitable, make more money from your email list, and whatever other goals that you guys have within the company. Now, if you like this video, just click this video on the screen right now for more email marketing tips that will help you scale your ecom brand. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.